Hey guys, look, I'm going to keep this video very quick, very simple, and straight to the point. The only thing that's holding every single person back from succeeding, the people who aren't successful, is literally doing the job, writing the content. There's three groups of people in SEO, or in the world of blogging. You have the people on the right-hand side, which are the killers. They're the ones who are doing the job, doing the task every day, getting the sales, getting the traffic, right? And it's only because their work effort every single day is phenomenal. That's, their output is phenomenal. Now, whether they're doing it themselves or whether they're hiring somebody is irrelevant. The job is getting done. That's the point. Then you have the people on the left, which are the losers. They're doing nothing. They just watch videos all day on SEO. They have absolutely no success, no contributions to their sites. And they'll complain about Google's algorithm. They'll say it's hard, it's whatever. But really no effort there. Okay? And then you got people in the middle who are just, it's almost like they're looking for permission from themselves to go out and do the task. Obviously, they have some things that get in the way of their life, stop them, that slow them down, and they're waiting for that perfect day to start. Regardless of the circumstance, guys, the people on the left-hand side, they're never going to make it, okay? It could be the most perfect circumstance, the best, opportunities. They're never going to make it. Then you have the people on the right-hand side that no matter what happens in the industry of SEO, blogging, they're always going to make money. These guys have been making money since the beginning of time for them. They've been successful since the beginning. And every single day they put in effort. And nobody needs to remind them to go to work and get the job done. Nobody needs to. The people in the middle, these are the people that are either going to fall to the left or the right-hand side eventually. Eventually they're either going to just give up or they're going to become killers. They're going to work each and every single day. I want to make this video for the people in the middle. For the people who are, maybe they're just waiting for that perfect moment. Maybe they have a blog, but they really haven't pulled the trigger fully and committed fully. There are people who are more committed to watching TV than they are to their blog. I understand that there are things that get in the way. My best recommendation is, if you really want to be successful with blogging, understand that there's only one thing holding you back, and that's creating content. Like, the only way somebody can possibly be successful with a blog is if they have content. If you have no content on your site, you're not going to make money. And when I say content, I want people to understand really what I mean. It's not just having words on a screen, guys. It's offering value to the end reader. And Google needs to see that. That's part of the game. That's part of the game of SEO. Google needs to see that. If your site is getting a lot of bounce, a lot of pogo sticking, it's not going to be successful. It's not going to make any money because Google is going to look at it and say, hey, whatever content is on this site, it's really not as good as we thought it would. Let's go ahead and de-rank it now. So instead of them testing you being on page 1, no, they're going to throw you back to page 50. That's just what it is. But the first thing you have to do is you have to pick the perfect niche. The reason why people are not successful with niche blogs is because they're not committed to the work. But the reason why they're not committed to the work is because they don't believe it will end up resulting in money. If you knew that you were going to make money doing a certain task, you would do it, just like going to work. If you knew that work would provide you a paycheck, you would show up to work every day, and you do. Most of the people listening to this have day jobs. They know that their job is going to pay them. That's why they show up. So with blogging, it's the same thing. The first step, the foundational step, is picking the perfect niche. The perfect niche is going to be able to allow you to monetize the blog properly because you're going to have everything done beforehand. See, you pick the perfect niche, you create the products based on the niche, and then you create the content for the needs of the products. So if a customer needs a certain product, how do they get to the product? They do it through the content. So the content is written content. It's blogs. You write it out. So for example, let's just say you're a basketball player and you teach people how to jump higher and become more athletic, right? They're reading your content on, how you boosted your vertical jump. Well, guess what? You should offer a product on that, but the product should be created before the content should be. Number one mistake is people do not create the products first. Because, see, the products outline the roadmap to the content. You're not going to know what content to write unless you know what products you want to sell, because each product is sold through the content. If I'm selling a workout guide on how to jump higher for basketball players, I'm not going to go create videos on, what's the best desk for coding or what's the best laptop for coding. That doesn't make sense, right? So I have to know what products I'm selling. I have to pick the perfect niche, then know what products I'm selling. I have to literally write it down. Then I have to create the products. Then I have to create the content that brings people to the products. After I create the content, I can literally walk away from the site, and the site will generate money on autopilot. That's just the way it is. I've had sites now for like 4 or 5 years that I haven't had to update, not even for a second. The only thing I have to do is hit that little update button in WordPress. And these are some older sites on WordPress. I don't use WordPress anymore. I highly recommend using Rocket Web Builder. I use it for myself. Everybody knows this. My site is literally on Rocket Web Builder. But that's an example of what I'm talking about, right? I haven't had to go back and actually write any content or update anything. I'm sure there will be a day where I have to eventually. It might be a year from now, 2 years from now, 6 months from now, but I haven't done it in years for some sites. Now, there are other sites that, because of my wrongdoing, because of my wrong picking, I have to update, pretty frequently. Multiple times a year I have to update, So every site is different, but the first step is picking the right niche. If you haven't already picked the right niche, you need to get this ebook. It's going to teach you how to pick the right niche, how to monetize from that specific niche. It has literally a guide inside, examples on how you would pick it. Now, if you're still struggling with topics, I created very recently a list of 100 different blog niches and 100 different blog posts to those niches. See, picking a niche site is not just picking a niche like, for example, cars. I see a car ad here. Picking, like, for example, cars and then just blogging. That's not what a niche site is. Actually, technically, it's a niche site, but it's not a cash cow niche site. This YouTube channel is called Cash Cow Niche Sites. There are some niche sites that make no money. There are some niche sites that make a lot of money. I highly recommend, by the way, you read the blog post that I created. What are niche sites? This is Unleashing the Power of Cash Cow Niche Sites, My Path to Financial Freedom. You're going to start understanding when you read this what a niche site is, how much money it can generate, what kind of things that you need to make it happen, to make it work, and how you can actually develop a true niche site. A niche site is not niche because of its size. It's niche because it's specificity and topic. And it becomes cash cow because you're serving the audience correctly with the right products. So if you're struggling with that, get this guide, the 100 niches and posts list. So I literally show you 100 examples of cash cow niche sites, right? The niches. And then I show you examples of a blog post for each. So technically it's a list of 200. But you can get it. $9.99 will help you out. I'm telling you, it will guide you through every step of the process. You get an idea now. So many people pick the wrong niche. It's the first thing. They make that mistake and then they see that they're not making money. That's a huge issue. Do you want to end up writing content for a site that's actually going to, be a fight uphill to actually make some money on? No. You want everything to fall into place as easy as possible. That's what you want. You don't want to struggle, because the reality is when most people struggle blogging, they quit. And once again, you could either fall to either side, the left or the right. You're either going to quit and you're going to give up and you're going to complain about every little update and every little nonsense, thing in history with SEO, or you're going to be a killer. You're going to be on the right-hand side. You're going to be the person who's making money. You're going to be the person who's working every day. And guys, keep in mind, the only reason people work every single day on a certain business is because they truly believe in their heart they will be successful. That's why. I wouldn't work on my sites if I didn't think I was going to be successful. I don't take guesses with my business. I don't take a guess. I don't say, oh, well, maybe I might make this happen. It's a matter of getting it done because I know the result, what the result is. That's all it is. I know what the result is. And majority of people, they don't believe they'll be successful because they haven't created a roadmap to success. They just think, oh, I'm going to start a blog and write some content and I'll make some money. But they have really no outline. They don't know what products they're going to sell. They don't know what blog posts they're going to write about. They don't have this stuff written down. They don't have a list of content that they're going to write. One of the tips that I give you in the ebook is you have to write everything down. You have to come up with a list of the exact products you're going to create. You got to outline the products. What are they going to be? Are they physical? Are they digital? Are they services? Are they membership? You got to write them down. You got to write down the topics of the blog post, the titles, word for word. You got to come up with outlines on how you got to take this thing serious. You can't just hope that you're going to make it. This is not one of those things that you could just say, I'll figure it out when the time comes. It's not one of those things, guys. And there's a step to this. There's a process to this. The first thing you have to do is you pick the niche. It has to be profitable. You have to come up with a roadmap to profitability. You have to create the products. After you create the products, not think of the products, after you create the products, then you create the content. How do you create the content? You have to have your list of topics. These are things that you have to do in that order. Because if you do it the other way around, where you say, okay, I have my niche, I'm going to now create some content. Now what you're doing is you're going to create a system that lacks foundational success. When you start creating the content before you create the products, you're stepping on the side of the roadmap. You're going off the trail. Now you're trying to figure out, okay, how can I relate this content to a product I want to sell? It's the other way around. You need to create the products first. Now, don't get me wrong, you can add products later, but those products, that content, those visitors, they have to go somewhere to pay you. If you're focused on making money from your blogs, guys, you have to have a clear roadmap, a clear definition as to how you're going to make money. And by the way, AdSense is not a roadmap to success with money. AdSense varies. There are some months I'll make $6,000 on AdSense. Some month I'll make 18 grand, especially during Q4. 16, 17, 18 grand a month, and then 6 grand. If I relied on that 16, 18K a month, and my living expenses were 15K a month, I'd be screwed for the whole year. I'd have no money because my living expenses went all the way up to past something I can't afford. So AdSense is literally the cherry on top. You don't rely on AdSense, right? AdSense is just a little dip here and there. It's nothing to rely on at all. Income School, and shout out to them, they built a great business selling people on Project 24, but Project 24 is literally a roadmap for 2 years to work on sites so that maybe you'll make enough money off of AdSense affiliate marketing. That's the worst model, man. It's terrible. You're going to sit there and you're going to work on a site for 2 years, for 24 months, so you can finally make some AdSense money? You could have made the same amount of money in 4 months if you had just focused on the products you were going to create for the audience, if you had just focused on the topics, the content, with some kind of legitimacy and authority. That's not an authoritative way of creating a blog, where you're only making money off of AdSense. But the reality is these people have to rely on AdSense because their blogs don't actually offer value. They're not creating a brand. You know what they're doing, right? They're just answering people's questions on a very basic level and then on to the next. That's how they make their money. It's a rinse and repeat formula of create content, basic content that never creates a brand, get the viewers in, get the clicks, get the ad money, and on to the next. If somebody happens to buy a product from Amazon with our affiliate link, great. That's their formula. That's not a real business, guys. Because a business is something that you can build, that you can automate, and work on something else while it generates you income. The guy who's a concrete business owner, let's say he sells concrete, you think he's working on that business each and every day? No. He's hiring people to do the job for him. Obviously, he's going to have to do some work in the beginning, but he could walk away if he wants to. That's a part of being a business owner. The people who own hospitals, who own car manufacturer companies, you think they're working on the businesses each and every day? No, they don't. They do enough work to hire managers, to hire CEOs, to hire workers as essentially to create automation. That's what you want to do with your blogs. Now, you're doing this as a one-man team, and I understand. That's why I'm giving you the guide here. I'm giving you the exact step-by-step strategy. What you're going to do is you're going to do the job. You're going to do everything necessary, and you're going to step away because that's the nature of a cash cow niche site. The nature of it is that you're going into realms that are less competitive, that you're going to offer better content for, that people are going to keep coming to your content for information, and you don't have to consistently update it. It's the only way you can create a collection of sites. If you're a one-man team, it's going to be insanely hard to manage anything more than like 7 sites at once. It's too hard to do it. Now, I personally have virtual assistants, and that's only because I have over 60 sites. You know? But if I was a one-man team, right, and I was trying to do things the regular way, where I'm constantly updating sites, that means 2 things. Number 1, I'm probably not adding any real consistent value to the algorithm. Number 2, I'm not creating a brand. And more importantly, the result of that is number 3, which is there's no place for automation. There's no place for me to walk away and really enjoy the fruits of my labor. I have to continually be tied to that business forever. I have sites, like I don't know if I said this already, but I have sites that I haven't worked on in years. You know? I have a site, as an example, it took me roughly a year's worth of work. And when I say a year's worth of work, keep in mind, it could take us a week and a half to write a blog post. But it's a damn good one. And it generated something like $76K that first year in profit. The second year, something like 60-something K. The next year after that, another 60-something $1,000 year. Another year after that, like 50-something. And I only worked on it for that first year. I've never touched it since. I make money from it every single day. A little trickle each and every day. A little more than $100 here and there, you know? And that's good for me. I don't have to go back and work on that site. You know? Because it's still generating a significant amount of income. A decent income. Now, it's not a lot of money for some people. I get it. $60,000, $70,000 is not a lot. For some people, it's a lot. But my point here is that I didn't have to go back and work on it. You look at a lot of these YouTubers, their sites, what they're doing is they'll create a site and they'll create purely just off of AI. They're automating the process. They think they're winning, but the reality is they're creating hundreds of sites, hundreds of posts, you know? And these posts are getting quickly ranked in the algorithm, then they're getting deranked because Google's testing them and they're seeing that, hey, this content, the content doesn't hold any value significantly here. Let's go ahead and derank them, find someone else. And that's exactly what's happening. With no exaggeration, that is exactly what's happening. This is another, once again, a problem with writing these AI posts is that you need to include some more information than the algorithm doesn't already have. Because think about it, GPT, AI, Perplexity, Cloud, whatever you're using, these AIs, they're not making stuff up from their minds. It's a computer. What it's doing is it's curating the information simultaneously and rewording it. That's all it's doing. So if I ask it to write a blog post about, multiple sclerosis, it's not going to give me information that people haven't already known or experienced. It's not going to give me any personal experiences. It's just going to give me information of what's out there. Now, in the world of blogging, that's not going to have long-term success. It's going to rank for a few days or a little while, and then it's going to get deranked after a while because Google's going to look at it after testing and say, this content literally does not offer anything new to our audience. And our audience verifies that it's true. They're bouncing, they're pogo sticking, they're just not interested in the content. They're spending 30 seconds, 20 seconds on the site, and then they're off. They don't care. So what happens? The site gets deranked. And you know what that owner does to that website? He just has to keep pumping out more and more and more and more content as if it's some sort of achievement. It's not. The content's garbage. The content's trash. So I don't want to keep ranting. I said I would keep this video quick, but I wish you guys the best. And don't fall to the left or the middle. Move to the right-hand side. Be a killer. Do the job, create the content. If you guys need any kind of support, check out cashcownichesites.com and audit your problem in your blog. Is it a content problem? Is it a niche problem? We have the solutions for you. Check it out. All right, I'll talk to you guys later. Thank you guys for watching. Peace out. Bye.